Welcome back to Sippin With Sin, the podcast where we talk about stuff and things and stuff that are important to, every single person on the planet. It's factuals. It's true. Don't argue it. We all know. Yeah, just it is what it is. But welcome back, everybody. Hope you're doing well, doing amazing, doing fantastic. Hello. It's another week, another episode. I think it's like episode 66 or something. We're getting up there. But yeah. I guess before we intro our esteemed colleague, we're going to tell you what we're sipping upon, or at least what I'm sipping upon. Trying a flavor. If I can get this out without spilling all over myself. If you're watching on YouTube, you may be in for a treat. Oh, I did it. Get some of that. Look at that. Life hacks. We're trying some gfuel power pellet cherry lollipop flavor. So, summoning the powers of Pac-Man for this episode. That's right. Pick up your G Fuel. Use code Sinister for at least 20% off your offer. We got to do a shameless plug to start the podcast because that's what we do. Go get it. Go do it. And it's time that we bring back our esteemed colleague, the one and the only Mr. Christian.
How's everyone doing today? It's good to be back for another week going strong. 60-something odd week, so let's keep it going.
I don't even... Dude, it's so many episodes at this point. It's kind of wild, truthfully. It's just craziness. All right, but we're not going to dilly-dally. We got some stuff to talk about, so we're just going to get right down to it. What we like to do to start every episode is we talk about what we've been watching, reading, listening to, or playing this past week. And, yeah, I guess I will start because I'm sure Christian has had a more productive week than me. First and foremost, I have been playing more Diablo 4. I've got some more time into it. I've been working on a druid on stream. And I've been playing a necromancer with the missus off stream. And I have to say I love the game. The game is freaking awesome. I really, really am enjoying it. It's definitely darker, a little more darker than like 3 and stuff was with the art style and everything. And I dig it. I like the fact that apparently I'm an idiot and I forgot that you could play your way. And you don't have to necessarily go in the linear story quest line like you did before where it's like, hey, you have to do this quest. And this act, it's like, hey, here's Act 1 and here's Act 2. And it's like, this quest line is 1 of 3. And you just kind of do it and go around and a little more freedom. So I guess the playthrough isn't as monotonous. And it's definitely, I can tell, like, playing with her, I'll be like, oh, I did this one earlier. Like, I don't know. I can see it definitely having more playability to it, like replayability and stuff. But it's been awesome. I've loved it. And I will double down on my statement that this is probably the best launch in the last several years, easily. The servers, there's been minimum issues. It's launched well. It's played well. There's been like next to no queue time for the most part. I think they had like one small issue for a little bit with login, but they've been on top of it. So freaking props to Blizzard and the Diablo team on a super smooth launch, something we don't get to brag about and talk about too much nowadays with games, especially AAA games and stuff, and really hyped up games. So huge congratulations to them. It's been awesome. Definitely recommend checking it out. And then the other thing I've been into, and this is going to get Christian's attention, I can tell. It's about to get his little ears perked up. I believe it was last week Christian was like, hey, I got a show for you to watch. Go do it. Go watch it. Watch the first episode. Let me know what you think. Christian, do you remember this? You know this?
I do remember this.
And that's Demon Slayer. And I'm a novice on anime. I will tell you, I have not watched a lot. I've watched Death Note. I've watched Attack on Titan. I've watched Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball. The different, like, that's been pretty much my range. And then Studio Ghibli movies, I've watched several of them. Not huge in anime, but, I do enjoy them. Castlevania, I guess that counts, right? Castlevania counts as anime.
Castlevania counts, yeah.
Castlevania is probably one of my favorites. I love it. So I watched first episode of Demon Slayer
right there.
Do what?
You said Castlemania for a second, and that was really funny.
Castlemania, yeah, it's Castlemania-vania. Castlemania-vania, say that fast. That's rough. But no, I started Demon Slayer. I'm about 12 or 13 episodes in. Episodes are pretty quick. So a couple things. The first episode did intrigue me. You were right. It did get my attention. I was like, okay. But what hooked the misses was probably like 7, 8 episodes in. And it's the introduction of, what is his name?
What's he look like?
The main demon dude.
Muzan.
Is that it? The one that can like turn a demon like that or tear their cells? They can't say his name.
Yeah, Muzan. That's the main. That's the
Yeah.
main
The
guy.
introduction, she
Yeah.
was like, okay, now I'm really interested. Like, she was already interested when the sister, like, and all that. And I was like, I can already see that she's going to be strong and, like, helping him. And, like, I get it. There are some weird parts in it, but it's anime, it's cartoon stuff. Like, there's some, like, kind of weird art things they do that, like, are different than the rest of the show. Like, what is it?
Also,
She's
what do you mean?
laying on the ground and she looks like a doll sometimes with, like, the way they do
Mhm.
the eyes and.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's essentially how you add comedy
I
into
mean that you can tell it's
in the
like
culture.
funny,
That's
like
comedy.
cheesy, funny
Yeah.
parts in it, and like a
Mm.
little ending. They'll do like a little knowledge thing, and there's little parts, but for the most part, um, it's dude, it's been good. I dig it. I like the demons, obviously, like the dark side of that, um, and I've liked it, and I can't. The freaking intro has been stuck in my head since I started
It
watching it.
does. It does happen. Yeah.
It's like caught in my head big time. But I've been checking it out. I'll definitely let you guys know more as we watch it. We're only, like I said, about 12 episodes in, but we've been digging it for the most part. Like, I'm enjoying it. Did you say the movie was on Netflix or no?
The I want to say the
For season
movie
2,
is
you said I
on
could watch a
Netflix.
movie, right?
Yeah, it's the train arc essentially, but I do know that it was a movie, and then they just kind of took the movie and cut it into episodes and then put it out, because it's the same thing. But I believe the movie is on Netflix. When I watched it on Netflix, I will say that I watched it episodically. I didn't watch like the full movie. I know for a fact the movie is on Crunchyroll. Um, I don't want to lie to you because when I was watching it, I watched the first season, week to week as the episodes are coming out, and then I just kind of stopped watching it for a while, and I read the entirety of the manga, and then I came back to watch the show again. So I kind of binged everything in a couple of days, so I don't remember where exactly I was watching everything. So I don't want to tell you the wrong information now. But I feel like it was on Netflix at least at one point. If it's not, I apologize for the misinformation.
But no, I've been digging it so far. I like it.
Have you met the have you trio of characters already? Because I don't remember how the episodes fall.
You talking about
I know that.
the dude with the boar's head, and is that who you're talking about?
Yeah, so you have Tanjiro, which is
Look,
the
I'm gonna
main
tell
guy
you
that you
right now.
follow
I
throughout.
have been asking the missus the last couple days the names because it's something about anime characters and names that I struggle bus with so hard. I was like, it took me 2 days to remember Tanjiro, and I still mess up the sister's name.
Her name is Nezuko.
Yeah, I don't know why it doesn't stick in my brain, but I struggle with it. Like, I know who I'm thinking of, but I can't think of the names.
Yeah, so you got Tanjiro and Nezuko.
Yeah.
Then you have the yellow-haired guy Zenitsu, and then you have Inosuke. Inosuke is the guy with the animal head on, and yeah, he's a lot. They're all the characters are a lot in their own way. They all bring their own unique brand of themselves to the trio, to the group, and they all have their own things. They all have their own highlights. They all one thing I like about this anime itself is those characters at one point get a chance to shine. They all get their chance to do something that the other characters literally cannot do, and I really do enjoy that. Zenitsu is meant to be really, really, really annoying and whiny and
Is that the
scared
one
and
in
all of that
orange?
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, that one gets
like
on my
it's like
nerves
more
so bad.
yellow.
And then they had like a moment where like they were crying the whole time, and then they like did this really cool looking thing, and it's like they transformed like they were bipolar or something. I was like, what the hell just happened?
So what happens is when Zenitsu, so they all have their own breathing technique.
Right.
Tanjiro is water breathing. Zenitsu is lightning breathing or
Yeah, I
thunder
have no clue
breathing.
where this
And
breathe
then
like the water come from. He was just like water breathing, and I was like, where in the hell did you learn this?
so when they show you him doing a training montage with I can't remember his mentor, but the guy that had that red mask on with the long nose, the Yeah, I can't remember his name off the top of my head at the moment, but he learned his particular style of breathing then because the guy he met that in the first episode, the demon slayer that he met that almost killed Nezuko,
I want that dude
he
back.
does he does water breathing. So he learned from that guy's master. So he also does water breathing. So Tanjiro learns water breathing because he learned it from that dude's master, right?
Gotcha.
So Zenitsu had his own master. He learned the lightning breathing, and then Inosuke with the boar's head, he grew up in the wild and he learned how to do what's it called? Is it nature breathing? Or, no, beast breathing.
Woodland
So he
breathing.
learned how to woodland. he does like the beast breathing. So they all have their own specialities in that.
Can
and
I say something that makes me really seem like a complete anime novice?
Sure.
So no, and like I like art styles, which like certain like ways with like the line work and stuff like that stand out to me and I dig. Something about every now and then, I guess it's the demons remind me of Castlevania. Sometimes, some of them, not all of them. Occasionally, I'll see one. I'm like, ooh, I got a Castlevania vibe from how this one is. Or like Boar's Head person. I don't know why, but I keep thinking Princess Mononoke. Every time I see him, I think of Princess Mononoke.
That's fair. I mean, the best.
And I wish Tanjiro would take off that freaking plaid whatever.
That's his signature, bro.
Why take it off. Come on now. He's running around like, come on, let's.
Each character has very specific design that the artist. So the person who drew this, I can't remember her name right now.
How old is this show?
But this is pretty new, man.
Oh, really?
It's yeah, this is pretty new. Like the new season literally just finished up, I think last week as the time of this recording.
What season is that?
3?
Really?
4. I think it's season 4.
These are like general questions. You started this with me. It's your fault.
No,
it's funny,
I can't
we
wait
watched
for
the trailer on Netflix. I was like, Christian told me to watch this. And she was like, we've seen this trailer a few times, and I'm kind of interested. And I was like, let's watch first episode. It's 30 minutes. So we watched it, and she was like, I don't know, maybe. And then the second episode, she was like, I don't know, maybe. She's like, there is some like childish stuff in it. And I was like, yeah, it is what it is, though. Like, for the most part, like, I get it. Dragon Ball does the same thing. Like, I get what they're doing. And then, like I said, it wasn't until Dude was introduced, and she was like, all right, now I'm interested. Like, I have a villain that I'm like really intrigued by. I want to know more about him.
What demons have you seen them fight already? Because I don't remember.
He did his final selection or whatever it's called. Do you know what I'm talking about? Where he went to the woods. It was like a final test thing, and he fought one that had killed, was it 13 of the previous students? It was like a bunch of arms, and it was huge. Do you know what I'm talking about?
That's all. That's yeah, I do. That's
his like first big one he fights.
Is that the last like demon that you've seen?
No. The last demon I saw him fight it had drums on it, and it was like changing. It was
the
like
arrows.
Do what?
Was it the demon with the arrows and shit?
No, not the arrows in the hands. Is that what you're talking about?
No, like
this one like threw like
the
claws at him.
Ruining
and he finally realized something that smelled like mold. He said, and he could dodge the claws, but it was like also changing the room around, and he was like drumming himself. But
I do know who you're talking about now.
The person I think it was a boy that was a writer or something, and Tanjiro's like, your blood magic was impressive. And he's like, did you mean that? And he's like, he just wanted like positive reinforcement about it. He was like, someone finally like understood or finally like appreciated or something. I was like, man, it's kind of sad. Like they humanize each demon. Usually it's like a kid or something, and it's kind of sad. Like after you see him be all devilish, then you're like, damn, now I feel bad for him.
I will tell you that so the mangaka is what they're called. Like the woman who wrote and drew everything for this before it became an anime, she wanted to humanize as many of the demons as possible so that she essentially makes you hate a lot of these characters because they're right? But during their defeat, if you will, a lot of them tend to flash back before they were demons or whatever, and they have really tragic backstories. So she's really good at getting you to really dislike these monstrous demon characters, and then right before Tanjiro or whoever takes them out, it's like, oh damn, well their life kind of sucked, and now I understand why they became a demon. Like I get it now. Like she does that a lot, so you will
I
see
dig
that
that
a
though.
lot moving forward in the show. It doesn't happen to everyone, I will say. Not everybody is redeemable in this thing, and it's good because it gives you a good balance of villains and people who are just the wrong place at the wrong time. And I say this in my household a lot, especially when I'm talking to my fiance. But it's the Joker mentality, is what I call it. And for those of you listening or watching who aren't big comic book fans or not big Batman and Joker fans, in one of the best Batman comics or graphic novels ever put to page, it's called Killing Joke, The Killing Joke. And in The Killing Joke, the Joker says something that makes so much sense. And we've heard it time and time again in other medias.
Just takes one
Killing Joke
bad
is the
day.
first time I ever heard it. Yeah. But to be like him, to be like the Joker, all it takes is one bad day.
It's true.
And we say that in my house all the time because everybody is just one bad day away from being their worst self. And with that said, for an example, in Marvel, in the Daredevil series that was on Netflix before it got switched over to the Disney Plus app, in season 2, Daredevil meets the Punisher in like the first episode, and in the second episode, I want to say they're talking because Daredevil's chained up. They have like one of the best conversations that's ever been in a comic book movie. If you haven't seen the scene, just literally Google Daredevil Punisher Netflix. It should be the first or second video. But Punisher tells Daredevil that he's a half measure because he doesn't actually kill the people that he's fighting and blah blah blah. We hear this conversation all the time when we're talking about heroes and Batman and all that. And I've gone on and on and on ad nauseum on this podcast in particular about that argument that people have. However, he tells Daredevil, "You're one bad day away from being me." And like I said, that's how it is for a lot of the characters in Demon Slayer. A lot of the demons, not everyone is redeemable. Some of them are just straight POSs, but that's really cool to hear, really cool to see. So I wanted to bring that to the attention of everyone who lend me their ears
I like
just
it
for a
though.
second
So
here.
far, like it's interesting. There's definitely different styles of art throughout it. Like the normal, like you see Tanjiro run around or fighting a demon, it's one thing, and then he goes to like into water breathing. It's a different style with the way they do the water. And then of
The
course
way it's
there's like the
animated, yeah.
comedic like doll. I call it doll because it literally looks like a doll. It goes from like really cool eyes because I like how they shade their eyes to like a real simple like essentially just a dot on them. But no, I dig it so far, and I will definitely we'll definitely talk about it more as I get farther into the seasons. I think there are 3 on Netflix. I think Flix. I think I saw 3. Um, and season 2
Yeah,
is
and
like
I'll say
super
this
short.
as well. The first season is the longest season. All the other seasons are really short. They you
Now it
literally
is going to be the same people, right? Like it's going to be Tanjiro and them.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's Tanjiro's story and the team that he builds, essentially the people that you've met already, Zenitsu and Nosuke, they are the team. People come. So I don't want to ruin anything, but I'll say this to try to make it a little easier for you. Tanjiro and his group of people haven't been called up to the main roster yet, right? So they're not a part of Raw and SmackDown. They're NXT. They're going to meet people that are on the main roster, and those, excuse my language, those motherfuckers are dope. They all look very different from each other. They all have very different personalities. One of them you're going to hate immediately, and you're going to love Tanjiro stepping up to this dude, and it's just going to happen. But it's kind of like the Dragon Ball Z thing. It's like, all right, so you got this person that you meet, but he's the weakest. Now I got to fight this guy. Now I got to fight this guy. Like that kind of thing does happen in this show, in this manga, in this anime, excuse me. But when Tanjiro meets what's called the Hashira, Hashiras are, you haven't seen Naruto, I don't think, so I don't want to give you things, but let's just say this. Like I said, when Tanjiro meets the main roster of Demon Slayers, like the upper echelon of Demon Slayers, That's when the show opens up. I think that's going to be at the end of season 1 when you see that. But the other seasons are going to be like, all right, Tanjiro, we heard that there is a demon in this area of the world. I need you to go there, and your mission is to see who it is and take care of him if you can. And like shit just starts popping off, bro. Like I'm telling you right now, shit's gonna start popping off on this show, and you're gonna be like, oh my god, I gotta watch the next one. Mr. Sin's gonna be like, oh my god, I gotta watch the next one. Like trust me,
That's
it's going
good
to
though.
happen.
So there's no
Like I said, season 1.
Dragon Ball drag out stuff where like on the next episode we finally fight, and then like 8 episodes later it's like, damn, we're still talking. Like,
no. And I will say that that's my next point. So like I said, the first season is the longest season because you're getting introduced to everything. When you get midway, which I think you said you're on episode 13, right?
Yeah, 12 or 13, somewhere in there. We just got introduced to Boarhead. Like Boarhead was trying to, I think, kill his sister, and
yeah.
I told you I'm terrible with names. Orange Coat. Orange Coat was like protected and getting that ass whooped, and then Tanjiro was like, enough of this, and like stepped up to him. That's pretty much where I'm at.
Nobody. So that's the thing. We have met the doctor
wrong. And her. The guy that's in love with her, I can't remember his name. He has cool hair.
Don't worry about it. So here's the thing. Everyone that meets Nezuko, Tanjiro's sister, in the box, right? They all want to kill her because their entire job is to slay demons.
Yeah.
So they all want to kill her. Tanjiro has to tell them the story, talk them down, blah blah blah. So everybody runs into this same problem. It's going to keep happening because it's really hard to explain to people, oh, good demon, because there hasn't been any. So that's the thing. But with that demon said, man,
the doctor chick, she doesn't seem bad right now unless there's a huge turn coming. Did I lose you? We might have lost Christian. And like I said, I'm awful with the names of these characters. I'm still there. Oh, Christian's back.
I didn't know I was gone.
Yeah, we lost you. Okay, the doctor chick seems to be good so far.
I don't remember the character that you're referencing right now, so I don't want to tell you.
They send him to a bigger city where the first time you meet the main bad guy, and she saves him because he's like holding a demon down the dude turned, and she does some kind of like spell that like blocks everybody from seeing, and pretty much she cleans up the mess. And she has this dude that's ultra protective of her, and she wants the blood of the I think it's the 12 under him to test, and she's testing his sister's blood to try to find a cure.
Oh, I vaguely remember who you're talking about.
She's like a couple hundred years old.
After season 1, we don't see that character a whole lot because they're doing other shit. Like I said, season 1 is really long. Tanjiro meets a whole lot of people, and then after that, bro.
After that, there's silence. Christians must be running into a little bit of hiccups with our stuff. But yeah, we've been going in depth on this. But I definitely will continue to share my thoughts. Like I said, I'm an anime novice, so if you're listening out there and you're in anime, I apologize for my stupidity on it. Christian recommended it, so we checked it out because that's what we do. We got to check stuff out. We got to come back with our opinions. And I have to say, if you haven't watched Demon Slayer, watch it. Let me know what you think. If you have watched it, let me know what you think. If you're an anime fan, I know there's some out there. I believe on the inside who's listening is quite an anime fan, and so is H and Yobi and some others that are listening out there. We gave little shout outs to those that are frequent listeners, and I appreciate it very, very much. But it's been good. It's been good. I'm weird on art styles and stuff. Like certain ones will catch my attention and it will keep me interested in the show. But so far, this has been pretty cool. I don't know why, but initially when we first were introduced to the demons, I know it's called Demon Slayer, obviously, so they're demons. But I kept thinking of vampires. Like, they kept reminding me of vampires. What was it, like sunlight and all this stuff? And I was like, vampire? Vampire? Are they really vampires and I just call them demons? But after you see the different forms of them, clearly they're demons. They're demons. It is what it is. But when Christian comes back, we'll see what he's been into this week because we've took up quite a bit of time. Other than that, I watched Summer Gamefest. We got into that yesterday. Let me think. Time of recording, and I believe it was yesterday we watched it. What it was announced we got Final Fantasy VII, the second part. We got Rebirth was announced. We got some Mortal Kombat stuff that we'll talk about in a little bit, and we got what else? What did we get? I can't remember what all was named. So, backtracking a little bit, I was gonna tell you the first few episodes. The missus was like, "I know it's called Demon Slayer, but these are these vampires?" Just because it was like no sunlight, no this. She was like, "They is this a vampire?" And I was like, I don't know. And then after you start seeing different like versions of them, I was like, no, they're demons. But
I mean, that's a fair question because of how it's depicted. But I think, like I said, the person who created this, she has a very pretty art style, and that's that I think that's a really good way to make like evil characters still seem very attractive. Is to just have like the kind of fang theory going on, give them the fangs and make them really pretty, give them giant eyes, that kind of thing. But yeah, man, you're gonna see some crazy looking, demon looking ass demons later on.
I like
But yeah,
demon looking ass.
it'll happen. It'll happen.
All right. But I told them after that, next thing I watched was Summer Game Fest. They announced like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I'm trying to think what else they announced. Witchfire, which looked kind of interesting. We saw Mortal Kombat, which we'll talk about, and I can't remember what else really. It was not bad. Spider-Man stuff, which I'm sure you're gonna talk about, and I guess let's get into what you've been into this week because we've already spent almost 30 minutes talking about Demon Slayer. This is what happens.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep everything moving forward as quick as I can because I know both of us have some things going on in real life, and we will run over time. So as far as what I've been doing this week, guys, it's been a rough week. So I haven't gotten to do a lot of things. But the last episode that you guys heard, I did mention that I was going to get Street Fighter 6, and I mentioned that I was going to see and Across the Spider-Verse. Only one of those things is true because I'm a filthy, dirty liar. So I did go see the new Spider-Man movie Across the Spider-Verse, as mentioned earlier, and I have some quick thoughts. You can hear the same review on my TikTok, which I'll plug right now, which is my name, Christian Vincent. Go check me out. Give me a like. Send me some comments. I read all the comments and I answer back to all your questions. But I really like the movie. I gave it a solid 9. I could even go higher and give it a 9.5. I really love this movie. It's fantastic. It was a lot of fun. It did not feel like it was 2 hours long. It felt like it was an hour and a half, maybe. The movie starts up and you get Gwen Stacy's story, Ghost Spider, Spider Gwen, Spider Woman, whatever you want to call her. You get way more of her backstory. It was supposed to be in the last movie, but they didn't put it in there because it was going to run over time. They put it in this one, but it made perfect sense. This is as much of a Gwen Stacy movie as it is a Miles Morales movie. This is something I definitely would like to see again in theaters if possible. It's a day one buy for me. When it's available on Blu-ray 4K, it's a day one buy, no questions asked. I want the special edition. I want a steel case. I want all of it. The movie's fantastic. The only reason I don't rate it higher than the last film is because Into the Spider-Verse was the first of its kind, and it started an entire animated movement, right, with that animation. So now the animation style that they use for that is literally called Spider-Verse animation, which they are using for the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem film. I'm sure that we've talked about the trailer, and I'm sure you guys listening to this may have seen the trailer, at least the poster for it. The trailer is in front of the Across the Spider-Verse movie. So that animation style is its own thing now, and it's been coined thanks to the creators of the Spider-Verse films. I will say this. Some people had an issue with the way this movie ended, and I think that everybody that had an issue with the way the movie ended, they have to be younger people that weren't paying attention to the film because they were too busy like looking at the spectacle or talking amongst themselves or talking about the cameos, which I won't get into because I do not want to spoil anything for you on this film. But the movie's fantastic. It's definitely worth your time. Like I said, it's a day one buy for me. It's a masterpiece. Like seriously, this is one of the best movies I've seen. It's one of the best comic book movies I've ever seen. And
Is
as
it better
far as
than the first
animated films go, the only reason I don't want to say it's better than the first one is because the first one started this entire movement of animation. It started a bunch of things, and there was a twist. I'm gonna assume that everybody's seen the first one. My experience going to see that first one with my fiance and other people in the theater, when you get that Uncle Aaron reveal, which I knew that was coming because I read all the comics and all that stuff, blah blah blah. But like when that happened, a lot of people were legitimately surprised, and that added to my experience with the film. So I can't say that it's better, but if it's not better, it's right on par with that first one.
I love the first one, so
I
that's
felt,
big words.
yeah, it's amazing. Like it's if you have the chance to have a parent, family member, whoever, watch Baby Sin so you and Mrs. Sin can go see this, you need to do that. Like, I'm not just saying that. Like, seriously, if you can make it happen where you go see this movie, make that happen. It's 100% worth seeing it on the big screen.
All right. Big words.
Other stuff. So that was my week. So I'm gonna go right into news so we can keep it rolling.
Keeping it rolling.
Keeping it rolling.
Sometimes I just like to yell.
We just found out.
I feel like
I know.
Rick from Anchorman right now, just like yelling. I just want to
Jeez.
start yelling random shit during the podcast.
I love Lamp. So loud voices. But anyway,
now the trip
we
now
just
it's going on everybody. Podcast just went
I know.
downhill. Sorry, now it's just random shit being yelled.
But we found out
Beans
yesterday.
and Franks.
We not only got a date for the Spider-Man 2 Insomniac game, we also got. Wow, a sneeze came out of nowhere, guys. I apologize.
It's because I said Beans and Franks.
That's probably what it was. That's exactly what it was.
It was a curse.
we got a date. It's coming out in October. I think it was I don't
20th.
remember the date off the top of my head. I want to say it was the 19th. The
20th.
The 20th. It was the 20th. I was very close with day off. But it's coming out October 20th, which is perfect. I will be married by that point. So that will be my first new game purchase as a married man. I can't wait. That's going to be a game that I play the shit out of. I don't know if we're going to 100% the game, but I'm going to do my best. I can't wait. And we also found out not only the date of the game, but we got some Venom news. And we found out, and I don't know how I feel about this as a huge fan of this character, but Eddie Brock will not be Venom in this game. Oh my goodness. So that leaves us with a couple of things. One, the symbiote breaks away from Peter and becomes its own entity, which has happened before, or it's going to be Harry Osborn, which is more likely. It could be Harry Osborn, it could be Norman Osborn for that fact even. It could even be Craven, which is another a theory that I just threw out right now off the top of my head. I'm sure other people have said it online, whatever. But I'm thinking that might happen. I don't know what to think. I'm a little afraid. What I think is going to happen is I think it's either going to be Craven or it's going to be one of the Osborns for sure. I know that Peter is trying to cure Harry. That's one of the reasons. That's one of his motivations for trying to keep the lizard unharmed in this game from the footage that we saw. And apparently, the footage that we saw was nothing. So I'm really excited to move forward and see more. But I am really, like I said, disappointed that Eddie Brock will not in the game unless they're just pulling the biggest troll that we've ever seen. It's not going to be him. So I'm excited, but I'm also very cautious because, like I said, Eddie Brock's one of my favorite, Spider-Man characters. I'm a huge fan of him. He's not everybody's favorite Venom. He's my favorite Venom. He's the Venom I grew up with. But Flash Thompson, for those comic book fans, we know that Flash Thompson was a fantastic Venom as well. So we'll see what happens, guys. I'm really excited to see how this boils down. Sin, what are your thoughts on the news about the Spider-Man 2 release date and knowing that Eddie Brock will not be Venom?
Honestly, I was a little surprised of the October release date. I knew it'd be obviously fall, but I was expecting more of a November release just to be right there for the holiday season. But I'm cool with it. I'm totally down. I can't wait to play it. I love the first one. Eddie Brock is a little shocking to me because, I think that was the general consensus. Like, we're getting Venom, that's Eddie Brock. Like, that's pretty much what everyone thought. Hopefully it's good, whatever they're doing. I believe they said it's not been seen before or something. They made some kind of comment about that, right? Like, it's something different. So we'll see what they're doing. But then I did see someone that mentioned someone else that had been Venom before, so I don't really know what they're gonna do. Well, I guess we'll be finding out. I've seen the Osborne thing a lot, especially with how, spoiler if you haven't played the first game ended. I've seen that being referenced quite a bit.
Mm.
But we'll see. I hope it's good. I hope whatever they do with Venom's good, because I love Venom, and I'm super excited to have Venom in a game. And I know not only do we have Kraven but Venom, but they mentioned there's a lot more villains in this too, so that'll be fun. It's gonna be an awesome game. I have very high expectations for it. Everything I've seen, especially how the first one was, I have minimum doubts. Only thing that concerns me, kind of like you, is the Venom. I hope they don't mess it up, but surely they have a good plan. We can only hope they have a good plan. Before we move on to the other thing, I just saw something from Bloody Disgusting. Lionsgate is reviving the Leprechaun franchise with a new movie from director Felipe Vargas. Interesting.
Wow, bold move to try to revive Leprechaun again.
Well, I mean, we're not even going to talk about the last. I mean, that was straight boo-boo shoes. The last Leprechaun. God, they're awful. Anyways, okay, we'll continue moving though. We're not going to dilly-dally. I just saw that news I wanted to share. But yeah, October 20th. What else is in October? There's something else, right?
There's a couple of things that's in October. I don't have my list pulled up
There
right
was something
now.
we talked about, and now I can't remember what it was. It was in October. September is Mortal Kombat. October was something, though, and I don't remember what it was now. Oh, well. I don't know. Now it's bugging.
All right,
Christian.
well, let's keep it moving.
Keep it moving,
I
Christian.
did want to say one more little bit of news. At the time of this recording, I am planning to go see the new Transformers film tomorrow. So I'm hoping that I have a good time seeing that. I did enjoy the trailer. I hate that they kind of dropped the ball in the trailer, telling us who the big bad's gonna be. That kind of sucks. But I understand, because people just don't have high hopes for the Transformers films anymore, and I completely understand. Like, I really haven't been into Transformers since the first one. I saw the second one and I was like, well, this isn't really great. And the third one, the only reason I like the third one is because I was in college when I saw that, and the friends that I went to go see that with were awesome, and they made it an enjoyable experience. So that happened. And aside from that, man, like, I just haven't really been a huge fan. I finally saw the Bumblebee film, and that one wasn't bad. Haley Steinfeld was in it, and that's before I knew who she was, and everybody was talking about how gorgeous she was and how great of an actress she is, and I was just like, we'll see. Finally saw that, and I thought it was fine, and I liked the old school G1 looks for the actual Transformers characters, Optimus, Bumblebee. I really like that. I loved getting a look at Cybertron finally, before the Autobots came down, before the Decepticons came down to Earth. I've really liked seeing that. So seeing the trailers for this film, the characters look pretty cool. I just really hope that we get some nice action that's not all muddied up by a lot of gray tones. I hope that the movie is funny, but not over the top funny. And I hope that, Optimus gets to do some shit without getting his ass whipped, because in every single Transformers movie, Optimus gets the shit beat out of him for some reason. So I want to see that be different. And I'm hoping that we get plenty of the.
So what you're saying is Optimus is the Steve of Stranger Things.
Yes, unfortunately for the films, I mean, I can't think of a Transformers movie, like live action movie, that's come out where Optimus doesn't just get fucking hands the whole movie. Like, he just gets his ass whipped. He either dies or gets a power up in the last 30 seconds of the movie that kills a person or whatever, and then he loses that power up, and here we are again. So hopefully that's different in this movie. Hopefully we get to see the Maximals. We get to see some Decepticons. Like, I'm hoping that's what happens. Or Predacons, sorry. I hope that happens, because I was a huge fan of Beast Wars. Beast Wars is why I like Transformers. That was the first thing I saw, the animated, like the CGI 3D animated Beast Wars show that came out in the super early 90s. I watched the shit out of that as a kid, and I liked it so much that I went back and started watching old school Transformers. And that's how I really got into it. So I'm hoping that the movie's good, man. We'll see what happens. But with that said, we will move on to the next category, which will be the thing that we're talking about the most. And Mortal Kombat gameplay trailer finally came out. Sin, give me your thoughts before I give you mine. I have some thoughts, but I would like not. I don't want to taint what you think. So I want
So
to hear what
here,
you say.
I'm going to go ahead and predict Christian's going to be bitching. I feel it coming. And I know what he's going to bitch about already.
Oh, I can't wait.
I already know. Okay, so my thoughts. We got the trailer. Story looks interesting. First and foremost, the combat looks smooth. It looked very, very smooth, very, very fast. You saw them do pop-ups. You saw aerial attacks. You saw combos. You saw them break combos. You saw them bringing in the cameo fighters, which is kind of like I thought it would be. Essentially, they are, I think it was called tag assist in the previous, like when you do certain towers, it would be tag assist, and they could come in, but you couldn't really control them then, I don't think, too much. Now it's, I think it was like R1 or something, and it's like a meter, so you can't just spam it over and over and be that guy. But you can use it to come in and help combo, or to break up a combo, like a combo breaker kind of deal. So that's going to be interesting to see how all that plays out. I definitely want to see more as far as that mechanic. Pretty much they said you can use anybody, including the same version, so you could have Sub-Zero with Sub-Zero. So the combinations are going to be pretty interesting. One thing I noticed that they didn't talk about, it looked like there was like an assisted fatality. And what I mean by that, like it looked like Scorpion and Sub-Zero both chimed in on a fatality. So I'm wondering if you're going to have like maybe your 2 fatalities and then your assisted fatality or something. Or maybe 2 assisted fatalities. Like I'm curious how all that's going to work. But it'll probably just be 1 fatality, I imagine. So you have 3 options and then maybe a stage. It looked good. The character models look good. There was one thing alone, like literally the rest of it could have been a picture of feces. And I probably would have been happy just because of one of the first things they showed right away. And you got the line where Liu Kang says something about finding other champions, and they showed my freaking boy Kenshi, and I was done. I was like, that's it. That's all I need. Okay, you showed me probably my main for the game, Kenshi. Like, I'm happy. That's he was wearing a suit. He looked awesome. He was fighting Johnny Cage, who looks different quite a bit. His design is different. It's definitely a little different looking Johnny. But then we also saw Kenshi with like a mask, and it looks like him in like a monk training outfit fighting somebody at one point. It looked good though. The combat looked good. So that takes us to the next thing that was shown in the cameo fighters. So they mentioned that some cameo fighters will be playable fighters on the roster. For example, Sub-Zero can be a cameo as well as playable. But the understanding is not all of them, correct? Not all of them will be playable. And they showed the roster, and I think it was Sonya, Kano. That might have been the only ones they showed for the cameo on like the actual selection screen. I have a feeling that those 2 are not going to be playable. For some reason, I feel like this is one of the things Christian's about to bitch about. The other thing, there was 2 cameos that popped up during, if you pay attention. One of them was Strider. Is it Strider? No, Striker. Sorry. Striker, who we haven't seen since MK1, I believe. Striker. And the other one was Goro. And I already know Christian's about to be mad because he loves Goro, and I think I'm saying he's probably going to be cameo, but I could be wrong. I forget. I feel like someone said the roster is 24 people is the rumor. I'm not sure, though, and I don't know where that's based from. But all in all, it looks good. I'm excited to play the story. I'm excited to see more about it. They have my boy Kenshi, so I'm happy from that alone. But the combat looked good. It looked fast. And the comment has been made. Someone said it looks like MK11 combat, which is not true. Because MK9 combat plays different than MK10. MK10 plays different than MK11. Each one feels different. And that's why
this one feels like I didn't mean to interrupt you, but just from what we saw, this one looks like a combination of MK9 and MK11. And the reason why I say that is because the combat looks straight up like MK9. It just has the fluidity of MK11. But they definitely went back with the gameplay and how the fights work and the breakers and all that. When I was watching the actual gameplay footage, it felt like watching a very polished MK9 straight up with the X-rays and everything. Like that's what it felt like.
But they definitely all have a different feel, and that's why in previous podcasts we've said like just because we like Sub-Zero. One game you may play Sub-Zero more than another because they play different, and it's based on which version of MK you're playing and which one you get. So I don't know. I'm excited, but it's NetherRealm. I have a lot of faith. We'll see more. I want to see more on the cameo system for sure. I want to see the roster. They gave me my main, and you have your main and Johnny, so you should be semi-happy at least. We have both of our probably main characters. One thing was said that literally blew my mind, and I've made some content around it. Scorpion and Sub-Zero are brothers in this timeline. That's so weird to me, and like just blew my mind. Did you catch that? Did you hear Ed Boon say that?
I did. I didn't know if that was. I figured Luke with Fire God Liu Kang making the new timeline. Well, I'll get into it when I talk.
But yeah,
I did catch that.
He was like talking about the timeline, the different things, and then he was like, Scorpion and Sub-Zero are now brothers, and I was like, wait, what? Like probably your most iconic rivalry throughout MK. Now they're brothers. So it'll be interesting. What's your thoughts?
All right. So let me just start. Sorry, I gotta get a yawn out. I want to keep this moving.
That's what he thought about it.
Yawn. I want to keep this moving because we have things to do. I will start by saying this. From the trailer, it looks like our confirmed fighters are going to be Liu Kang, Raiden, Kung Lao, Melina, Katana, Shang Tsung because he's a pre-order bonus,
right?
Scorpion, Sub-Zero, and Johnny Cage.
And Kenshi.
So we only and Kenshi. Sorry, Kenshi. So we have 9 characters that we're gonna have that we know we're gonna have.
I think so.
So that's exciting right now. I mean, I know we have 9 characters because it's a NetherRealm game, so they're gonna give us more characters than I have to start off with, and then we'll have our packs.
I think the 8 were confirmed kind of from the other trailer, and then Kenshi's like the new confirmed playable one. I would say because I didn't see anybody else playable.
So I will say that Kenshi's design is a lot different. I love Kenshi with the suit on.
He looks sick.
That looked really cool. I think Kenshi is modeled after a martial artist that's really famous right now on like Instagram and stuff. His name is Noah. I can't remember his last name, but it starts with an F. I follow him on Instagram. He's a cool dude. He posts a lot of content. Him and another woman, when MK11 came out, posted a series of videos on YouTube and on Instagram doing moves from MK11, like would this really work? So they would break down combos for a character and like do them like they're performed in the game, so you can see what they would look like in real life. And I believe that's who they used as Kenshi's model for the game. So Kenshi looked, a lot of the characters look different. Like first of all, Sub-Zero, this is the first time that I remember ever seeing Sub-Zero with a fucking man bun, right? He's got the man bun in the back, the long hair tied up. This is the first time that I remember seeing him with long hair because traditionally he has short hair. Sub-Zero, kind of the same way, but actually no. He's had long hair before, so we're kind of seeing that. So there is that. I've seen a mock-up of the character select screen, and it's a mock-up, right? So I don't know what that's going to look like. I will say this though, just to get into the nitty-gritty, what I know you in particular and some of the listeners really want to hear, the cameos. Let's talk about the cameos. I saw the cameos and I was not impressed. And I'm not even trying to shit on the game because obviously I'm going to get the game day one. I'm going to play the shit out of the game. We're going to play the game together. We're probably going to stream ourselves playing the game, all that stuff. So I'm really, really, really excited about that. And I'm genuinely excited about playing this game. However, the cameos are exactly what I was afraid of them being so far from what we saw. And that is having characters that may or may not be playable doing something like a tag team move for every other fighting game that's had tag team mechanics or whatever. And you press a button, they come out, they do a special move. It's either a straightforward or an aerial, something like that, or it's something that does a pop-up to set you up for a combo. It's one of those things. And then they slide back off the screen. And then I also saw the cameo-looking fatality that they showed us off in the game. I mean, it looks cool, but I also feel like with X-ray moves, right? And then with X-rays, and then I forget what the other ones were called in MK11 because it wasn't called an X-ray in that one. But it's that kind of thing where your bar builds all the way up, then you get to execute that move. It does a whole lot of damage to a person, right? You can either start off with that, you can end off with that, you can set people up with that, like that kind of thing. Like I feel like it's going to be really cool the first week, 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks of the game's lifespan, and then it's going to be super fucking annoying. Like I feel like that's going to be the case, and that's kind of how it always is with these types of games. It just happens. It's really cool. It's a novelty thing, and then it gets really, really stale. I can absolutely see that happening. With that said, the game play looks fantastic. The graphics look really good. This is like the best MK has ever looked, and that can be said for every single MK. Every year one comes out, it looks better, and that's just showing you NetherRealm they really give a fuck, bro. They put time into this shit. They really care about what the games look like, what they feel like. So thank you, NetherRealm. Other gaming studios don't do that. They just don't. So I love that about your studio. I love that. Ed Boon is on the shit. The studio's on their shit. Everybody's really doing what they need to be doing for this stuff. So thank you for that. The roster itself, the characters look great. Johnny Cage looks weird to me. I'm not gonna lie.
He's doesn't
look like.
Yeah.
He's different. I'm used to him looking the same way for the last, I don't know, 5-ish, 6-ish years now. Now he looks different, so it's fine. Like different. I'm cool with things looking different. I am. He just doesn't look like the Johnny that I'm used to. He doesn't look
Honestly,
like
I didn't
smug.
know it was. I'm gonna be honest. Whenever I first was watching the Kenshi Cage fight, I was so fixated on Kenshi that I didn't realize it was Johnny Cage until he did the splits, and I was like, wait, that's Johnny? And then they showed him. I was like, that's Johnny? Like what?
Yeah, he doesn't look like Johnny Cage, if that makes sense. He doesn't look like Johnny Cage. With that said, though, we already know he's going to get a Van Damme skin, so there's going to be a thing, and we also know that in the story of the game, Liu Kang has created a whole new timeline, a whole new setup. So a lot of the characters' ways are going to be different. So while Liu Kang and Johnny Cage were friends, and the original, I guess you can say, timeline that we're used to at this point, they were friends, and then all that, he could have made Johnny a little bit different. Johnny could be a little less smug. He could be more of an asshole. He could be less of a ladies' man. He could be more of a ladies' man. We don't know. Like he could have gone down a different path. His moveset could be different. Things about his character could be wholly different, solely based on whatever Liu Kang wanted at this point. So I had to keep that in the back of my mind. He may not look like Johnny Cage, but is he going to play like Johnny Cage? It seems like that's going to be the case. So I am ready for that. And I think that NetherRealm Studios is going to harken back a lot to the original Mortal Kombat, maybe even Mortal Kombat 2. We even saw that with some of the fatalities. We saw the spine rip. We saw Kano pulling somebody's heart out. So I think that we're going to get a lot of that. We saw a bunch of Raiden
they
gameplay.
mentioned something about like Sonya and Kano, which makes me think their only cameo they're more in their like MK1, MK2 like outfits. They're more in like the original clothing, like on purpose.
Yeah, they were definitely MK1 outfits for sure. I will say this: if Sonya is not a playable character in the game, I'm going to be really fucking sad and disappointed. I really am, because she seemed to be a straight like Sonya and Jax and Kano seemed like they were solely. They seemed like they were solely cameo characters, and that vexes me. I do not like that. So that's me. That's a bitch for me for sure. Those three staple characters definitely. I can understand you making Kano one because you want to bring in different villains. I could understand.
Kano would have been probably the only one in my rotation out of that group.
Yeah, so. I could see you. I could see you subbing out Kano this go around for Reptile. I could totally see that, because Reptile hasn't been in the game for a little while, so I could see him coming back in the game. I could totally see that. I could see Ermac coming back in the game and them taking somebody out and putting them as a cameo fighter. I could totally see that. But I don't know, man. It's a give take with this game. It looks great. The backgrounds are the best I've seen in pretty much any fighting game. They look so good. I spent more time looking at the fucking backgrounds than I did the characters, if that tells you anything. So Melina's story looks really cool.
I wonder if we get a cameo, for example, Sonya. I don't know what just happened while my stuff went out, but we lost. I guess we just had a complete technical issue on my end. I don't know what just happened. Yeah,
You're like frozen on my screen, but I can still hear you.
yeah. It's the camera just went black on mine. Okay, that's weird.
It's
Let's do
weird.
this. Oh no, I think I broke it. There we go. I don't know what that was. That was weird. Anyways, what if this is spitballing? We don't know. Like, it's very limited information. Obviously, we've seen what two things now on MK1. What if, for example, Sonya, say they're a cameo now, could they already have the move set and stuff kind of set. Could they not eventually make it a playable character and just flip it?
I mean, I don't see why not. I don't know how likely that is, but I don't see why they couldn't do that.
Yeah. Okay. Just an idea. I mean, I don't really know what all goes into that. I'm not a developer, obviously, and I don't know what all they would have to do, but it's not like they don't have her move set readily pretty much available. I mean, I guess it would take a lot of animations and like if you have like fatalities together and stuff. I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that's going to play out. I just know that that's one of the things that I called out. I didn't really enjoy. I didn't really like how the cameos seemed to work. I didn't really care for Johnny's new design, but I also am excited to get used to his new design. The gameplay really looked great. The graphics are dope. It's going to be obviously one of the best fighting games of the year. The story is very different, and I can't wait to see more. But I do like seeing this new Raiden. I do like seeing this newer Kung Lao. I do like seeing Kenshi seeming like he's. It seems like they're setting Kenshi up to be the new champion, which I didn't expect. Because it's like Kenshi is taking over for Liu Kang.
He looked
I
like a
fully
movie star
expected that
too.
to
Did you
be.
notice that?
Yeah, I did. And I fully expected them to make either Johnny the new champion or Kung Lao the new champion. That's what I expected. I didn't think they were going to make Raiden the new champion just because Raiden was such an integral part to the last trilogy of games, essentially, that I thought that they were going to calm down on him a little bit and just make him a cool little back character. But I don't know. I'm really excited. I was saying this before you said what you said, but I'm really excited to see more of Katana and Melina's story. It seems like Melina is Empress of Outworld right now, and Katana is her sister who is kind of shunned. And it seems like Melina believes that Katana wants to usurp her throne. So that's kind of cool to see because it's been the opposite way for pretty much all of the Mortal Kombat games.
Did you catch the
So
little
that's
it's not an Easter egg. I guess it would be a throwback. Whenever they went to that scene, it was like an Injustice thing where they were like face to face how they were setting up the fight.
Clash.
Yeah, the Clash thing. I was like, oh, damn you, NetherRealm. I see what you're doing.
Yeah, I did see. I was going to mention just a minute, but just we might as well just talk about it. I did see the Clash. I'm excited for that being a part of the game. I think that they're going to do that in this game since they completely fucked me and then this is 3 like I was hoping. I think they're going to take that mechanic and put it in MK1. So I like that and that's cool. That was one of my favorite mechanics of Injustice 2 because it was very helpful and sometimes it really hurt you, but all in all, it was a helpful addition to the game. So I really enjoyed that. So I did see that here. It also seems like Melina isn't necessarily a clone of Katana. It seems like she is mutating in a way. Like she has some kind of weird mutant vampirism that's going on with her, and it's getting out of control. And she like mutates further. Like if you notice the scene with her mouth, it doesn't start with the Baraka teeth, the Tarkatan teeth. It starts off more normal, turns in more vampire, and then gets more and more and more Baraka as the game goes by. So I'm really excited to see what they're doing with that, particular mutation. So I'm really, really excited for that. But to keep the ball moving because I know we're running out of time. I really did enjoy most of the reveal for the gameplay. Like I said, it looks amazing. The story seems like it's going to be super interesting and different, which I like. Some of the designs for characters I'm not too keen on. I'm not really hot on the cameo things right now. I'm not really hot on the cameo fatalities right now because I feel like that's going to be a real big gimmicky thing and that'll get old really quickly. And I hope that they would and they might. I could be wrong right now, but I'm hoping that they did spend a lot of time on the regular fatalities. I hope we get more than one fatality. I hope they give us 3. They typically give us 2, but if we're changing shit up, maybe they'll give us 3, not including the cameo fatalities, which, like I said, could be cool. I'm ready to see what the rest of the roster is going to look like. I want to see what character-specific breakdowns are going to look like when they're showing us the combos for them. I can't wait to see more and more and more. and I want the game to come out now, if that makes any sense. So those are my thoughts on MK1, the gameplay trailer. I'm sure that we'll get more in the weeks to come. We got Comic-Con coming up soon too, so we'll get a lot of trailers for movies coming out. There's gonna be a lot of comic book news coming out. I'm excited for all of this stuff. I'm ready. I can't wait to get into it. And yeah, that's it.
All right. Well, that's almost perfectly timed. We're right at an hour running, so it is time now, ladies and gentlemen, that we
pass the whiskey.
That's right. Get your
Whiskey.
As we go into the last call question, and I believe our one and only Dreadlock Wizard himself has a question this week, drinking out of his Jason Voorhees cup over there. So
Oh yeah, this
if you're
is
not
great.
watching on YouTube, he's got
Christmas.
like a really cool looking Jason Voorhees Friday the 13th cup he's sipping upon.
Yeah, this was a Christmas gift from a friend, excuse me, Julissa and Vince. If you ever happen to hear this, thank you for this amazing Jason Voorhees Tervis cup. It's awesome, keeps your drinks cold, and I use it quite frequently. So thank you so much. But the last call question is hopefully a simple one, and I hope I don't catch you off guard with this. But we're in the spirit of talking about video games this week and the last week, and I had a question last week that I didn't get to ask, so I thought I'd ask it now.
Oh God!
And that question is this: what superhero game specifically would you like to see that we haven't seen?
Ooh.
That could be Marvel, that could be DC, that could be Image, whatever superhero or hero character that you want to see in a game that you think would work in a game. I want to hear that pitch from you.
Okay, I have.
If you haven't already, though, but if you need time,
No, I have three that popped into my head initially.
Okay.
And I'm trying to like process. I know one of them for sure hasn't been a video game. I'm trying to think if the other two have, and I don't think so. The three that initially popped in my head, I don't think you're gonna guess. Do you have any guesses who I'm gonna say?
I'm guessing Blade.
Damn, I didn't actually think about that. That would be a good one. Damn,
Okay.
that would have been a really good one. Good job.
Change your answer. You can change if you want.
No, but that I would play a Blade game. I'd play a Blade
All
game.
right. I'm thinking that was my first guess for that. I'm thinking Moon Knight for you. You and our buddy TJ seemed like you'd be Moon Knight stands, and you'd want.
TJ would be for sure on Moon Knight.
TJ, if you're listening to this, I really want you to either comment on this video, comment on our TikToks, on our personal, just anywhere. Let us know what superhero video game you want to see, and if it is Moon Knight, explain to me what you want that to look like.
I would bet it's Moon Knight with him. I would almost
want an Arkham style. An Arkham, Spider-Man, Insomniac style Moon Knight game. What characters would you like to see cameoed? Who's the main villain? Like I want to hear that pitch from you, like legitimately. So if you hear this, my dude, please let me know. Please let me know. I want to hear that, and we will talk about it on the next episode.
And Blade are your picks for me.
That's who I would pick for you. So
I have
I'm
one
obviously wrong.
That's gonna be out of left field that you're gonna be like, what?
Please tell me.
Okay, the first thing that popped in my mind, Daredevil.
Okay.
Like an Arkham Spider-Man stylish open world, like run through New York, beating the shit out of people, doing acrobatic stuff all over with the abilities. I don't know if there's a Daredevil game though. I don't think there is.
I don't think there's a Daredevil
If there
game
is,
either.
it's old as shit and I don't remember it.
Like a straight Daredevil game? No. Is Daredevil in games? Yeah, he's in like Marvel Ultimate Alliance and shit.
But I mean, like
he doesn't have his own dedicated game.
like his own thing.
Yeah.
The other one I thought of was Punisher, because the Punisher game, like a dark Punisher.
Punisher has had a couple of games.
Oh, he has.
But yeah, he has had a couple of games. They're old though. They're older. They're older.
We'll strike
so
that.
I would like to see.
All right, you ready for my out of left field? I don't know why these are the three. I feel like Daredevil could work really well in that environment, though.
Absolutely.
The last one, Haunt.
Okay, I should have known it was going to be an Image character. In my head, I was like, it's either going to be.
Why are you hating? I love Image stuff.
I don't hate. I love Image. But I expected your. This is what I was thinking.
I thought of the Wolfman one, but I was like,
I wasn't thinking
Werewolf by
Wolfman,
Night,
which would be good.
Do which?
I wasn't thinking that. This is what I was thinking for you when you said left field. I was like, it's either going to be Invincible, or it's going to be not Image, but The Boys. I thought you were going to want the Boys game.
Boys would be chaotic. Boys would be almost like a really raunchy, jacked up Avengers game.
Yeah, I can see that.
or like an Ultimate Alliance, but like Ultimate Alliance from hell, essentially. Like it would just be because it would have to be bad. Because if you sugarcoat that game, this is gonna be boo boo shoes.
I agree.
Ooh, Invincible would
Would
be
probably
interesting.
use Invincible would be interesting. That'd be the closest you can get to a Superman game without playing a Superman game.
But the only thing with something
Um,
like that is like you couldn't like I'd be really judgmental on it in parts. Like you would have to
understandable.
do it right.
For any game, for any game, I'd hope that you do it.
Uh-oh.
But I'm assuming for any game you'd have to do it right. Like, and when I say this, I mean like a triple A, like spending time, spending care
Like
into
an
this game. Don't give us
Insomniac
a fucking
or like what they did with Arkham, like invest the time.
yeah. Don't give us a half-ass thing. Like yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So is Haunt your main answer? Is that
No, I
it for
mean
you?
Daredevil and Haunt were the first two that come to mind. I do really like the Blade concept though. That would be a lot of fun. I just feel like Daredevil to me would thrive in that style of work because when you say superhero game right now, what I'm programmed is Batman and Spider-Man. Those are like the ones that stand out as like really big hits. Which I mean, you
Sure.
could technically do like a Guardian style game. Guardians was really good. I actually enjoyed my playthrough of Guardians.
Let me give you mine real quick because I am
Okay.
running out of time, like hardcore. So my first one is Green Lantern. I would love to be able to make my own lantern and choose which core I go to. So you get to make your lantern character. You get to make them look how you want to look, and you get to choose your core. You could either choose um, from all of them, right? I don't for the sake of I mean like the way that I see it, there's a big threat, and it could be the first lantern. I think would be a big enough threat because if you're choosing all of the lantern cores, and then you need a villain that would require all the lantern cores to kind of come together. So I'm thinking maybe the first lantern. But if we wanted to keep it more grounded, then I think that you should be able to choose between becoming a green lantern or a yellow lantern, maybe green, yellow, and red lanterns. Um, but for the sake of simplicity, I think it would be easier for you to be able to make your own lantern. Maybe you start off as a green lantern, and then you get to choose if you want to stick with the green lantern. No. I take that back completely. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I would like it if it was like Harry Potter style. You make your own lantern, you take a little quiz, and then they put you in a lantern core. You could dispute it if you wanted to, but they put you in a core, and from there you go on to do the main story of the game and you get to upgrade your lanterns. You get more moves, you get more combos, you get more armors. You can change out the way your lantern costume looks. That way, everybody doesn't look exactly the same in the game. I would love for that to be more of the style of gameplay. So it's like a hardcore RPG where you get to make decisions, a la something like Dragon Age or Mass Effect, that kind of thing, because it's space based, right? To your lantern, so you wouldn't be spending a lot of time on Earth. And if you
So
were a
I'm
Green
glad you said
Lantern,
Mass Effect because I forgot completely something that was talked about this week that I was supposed to bring up to you.
okay, we'll talk about it here in just a second. Let me finish this real quick. So I would love a Green Lantern game style. Just is what I'm saying. So something where you get to make decisions, you get to make a character, you get to upgrade, you get to level up, you get to add to your character, add to the armor, add to the way that your lantern symbol looks. Is it bigger? Is it smaller? Is it on your shoulders? Is it on your chest? Is it on your bandana if you have one of those? Like whatever. Are your glasses the insignia for that? Like anything. I would love for that to be the game style for that. And if I couldn't have that, then my alternative would be what I was saying earlier, which would be that Blade game. And I would want that Blade game to be rated M for mature. I want to see blood. I want to see vampires killing people. I want to see Blade being the Daywalker. I would love for the game to start off with a rave scene, raining blood, music bumping, you throwing your little boomerang down, slashing people up with swords, learning the combat, cutting off Quinn's hand. I want all of that. I want Frost to be a villain. I want Dracula to be an overarching villain. Like I want big budget Blade game. That's what I would love if I couldn't have my Green Lantern core game. And I would call the Green Lantern core game the core, spelled CORP, right? And you get to join up your core and you get to do that, blah 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 blah. That's what I would love. for games as far as superhero games go. But you had some information you wanted to give to me. I'm sorry I cut you off. Let me hear that.
So your all-time favorite game before God of War was Mass Effect 2, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So I talked to a very large Mass Effect fan that I'm sure you can guess probably who it was.
I think I do.
It would be the one and only legendary Mr. Yobi. And we were
knew
talking
it.
Mass
I knew
Effect.
it.
And I was like, Yobi, I'm pretty sure Christian's favorite game is Mass Effect 2. What is yours? I need to know. Because he's read the books. He's Mass Effect lore, he's in it. He knows all the stuff. I was like, what's
I'm so
yours?
glad he's also read the books. I thought I was the only one.
What do you know which one he picked?
I feel like his favorite's number 1.
It is. He said it's the one that started all. He loves exploring the planets. He picked one. I was like, okay, I'm gonna tell Christian his answer is shit then.
Here's the thing. I figured Yobi's was 1.
He also told me 3's still online because I told him me and you played the shit out of 3 multiplayer, and he's like, it's still really active and going. I was like, really?
I did not know that.
I was surprised by that myself.
Yeah, I'll try that out. I didn't know that was still available. But another run out of time. But I figured his favorite would be 1 because I know that he loved. And I liked reading that in the first game, but that's because I'm a huge geek, right? And not everybody's geeky like that. But the second one gave me the best of both worlds. There was a lot of information to gather in the game if you chose to gather that information. The story was really good. I really liked the character progression. I really enjoyed the new cast of characters. I hated every single character that they introduced me to. I didn't like Jacob. I didn't like Miranda. I didn't like anybody. Garrus showed up, and I was like, fuck yeah. Tally showed up. I was like, fuck yeah. But after that, I was like, no, I don't want anybody. You couldn't get Rex. I was pissed. Then we had Grunt, and I was like, who the fuck is this guy? And I learned to love those characters. I love the cast of characters and Mass Effect 2. So when we went to Mass Effect 3 and you got some of those characters back on your team, I was like, oh, but what about Jax? What about Grunt? Where are these characters? They give you Javik and stuff, and that's cool, but I really missed those characters from I keep saying Resident Evil, sorry, from Mass Effect 2. So I was excited to get kind of the best of both worlds, and I really liked how they capped off some of those relationships that you could have with characters. But with that said, that's a whole nother game, a whole nother conversation we'll get into another day. Yobi, loving number 1. It did start it off. I completely understand that, brother. It's a great game. It did start it all, and thanks to that game, I have a love for just the sci-fi genre more so because of that game, because of those series of games. It's just the second one did exactly what I needed to do when I needed it to do it at that time, and I've held on to that high that I got from that game ever since. But that's all for me on this episode, guys. And if you got anything else, throw it on us.
That's it. If you'd like your question to be featured in the last call section, be sure to hit us up on gilded.gg/Sinister Pack in the application just put from the pod. There's a section dedicated just to last call. Submit it there to get featured on an episode. There's also lots of other channels around the pod. You can talk comics. You can talk Sinister Tales and spooky stuff that goes at night to have one of those possibly featured on the podcast as well as episode chat, drinks, all that good stuff. You can also hit us up on our socials at Sippin With Sin, SIPPIN with Sin on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. DM us your last call question there to hopefully get it featured as well. You can find me on my personal socials at IamSinister TV on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me also streaming on kick.com/IamSinister. You can find me on twitch.tv/IamSinisterTV, TikTok at IamSinisterTV, and Facebook at facebook.com/IamSinisterTV. If you want to find me personally and talk to me, you can find me there. And if you want to pick up some G Fuel, because we got to do plugs, code Sinister gets you at least 20% off your order. If you do order using my code, be sure to take a little picture, a little screenshot of your order with my code in it and tag me and G Fuel. I know they like to see it, and I like to see it as well, and we'll give you some love about it and back and all that good stuff and things. You can find the new podcast episodes every Wednesday, 8 a.m. Central Time on Spotify, Anchor.fm, which is now, I think, just Spotify too. I'm not really sure. They changed something. Apple, Overcast, Google, everywhere pretty much. You can find us 8 a.m. Central Time every Wednesday. That's right, weekly episodes. So go be sure to rate them 5 stars, follow, subscribe, like it, share it with a friend, all that good stuff. Continue to spread the word. We really, really appreciate you doing that. You can also find the video version if you like to watch our faces live and in time when Christian gets nice and angry and goes on his rants. You can find it on YouTube, youtube.com/IamSinister on my personal YouTube, and be sure to thumbs up that and subscribe to the channel. Christian, where can the lovely folks find you? Because the video version comes out every Wednesday at 8 a.m. Central Time, too. Forgot to say that.
You guys can find me on my personal socials at Vin and Inc. everywhere. You can also find me on TikTok at my name, Christian Vincent. That's V as in Victory, ENSON. I like to do movie and book reviews. You will find me there doing a review here soon for the new Transformers movie soon, I'm sure. That's pretty much all the places you can find me, guys. You can also find me on my own personal horror podcast at Horrorverse. That's Horrorverse Pod at all the socials. I'll answer all your questions. Say what's up. Tag me in whatever you want to tag me in. I'll give you some love. That's where you guys can find me. That's it.
That's it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's all we got for this episode. We appreciate you listening. If you made it this far, you're a real one. You don't have to go home, but you got to get the hell out of here. It's time for Christian to shut it down and lock the doors. Until next week.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to yet another episode of Sipping With 5-star review. Click that like button. Leave us a review on all the other socials, on Spotify included. We love to see that. But before we go, guys, I'm going to leave you with 3 words. 3 words I always leave you with. And if you haven't heard it before, listen carefully. If you've heard it before, say it with me. Don't get gutted.
See you guys next week.